Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser G. Yes, it is time for me to review one of the most anticipated horror films of the year. Yes, it is the seventh film in the franchise, and yes, Neve Campbell is back, Sydney is back, and so is Kevin Williamson, as now will reveal Scream 7. Yes! Ha ha ha!
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser G. Now, Scream 7 is a 2026 American slasher film that was written and directed by Kevin Williamson. Now, the film stars Neve Campbell, Isabel May, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, and Courtney Cox. Now, in this film, when a new Ghostface killer emerges in town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter has become the next target. Oh, Ghostface, I knew you'd be coming back. Now, horror fans, when it comes to the slasher subgenre in horror films, Scream has become one of the most successful horror franchises right next to the big three of Freddy, Jason, and Michael. Created by American screenwriter Kevin Williamson, the original 1996 film, which poked fun at slasher tropes, revitalized the slasher genre as it was brought on a new horror icon in Ghostface. And that's because at that particular time, we really didn't have a lot of great horror films. Well, we did have some good horror films, but the big three, Freddy, Jason, and Michael, were on the downside and really didn't have anything new when it comes to the slasher genre until 1996 when Kevin Williamson and the late great Wes Craven gave us Scream, and bam! What a movie! Now, the first four films in the series were directed by the late great Wes Craven, introduced a new final girl in Sidney Prescott, played by American actress Neve Campbell. Now, she, along with Courtney Cox and David Arquette, would be known as what I call them the Three Amigos. They became the centerpiece of all four films. Now, changes were made in the fifth film as new screenwriters Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt introduced new characters such as Tara and Sam Carpenter, along with the twin siblings Mindy and Chad Mix Martin. They became the focal point of the story while Sidney, Dale, and Dewey took a back seat in the Scream 2022 film. Now, we all know what happened in the sixth film, so there's no need to go into discussion further about that particular film. And of course, for me, there is no need to even talk about what went on during the pre production phase of the seventh film franchise, only for that the original creator is back both as writer and director. So now Kevin Williamson brings us the seventh film in the series along with the return of Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott for Scream 7. Now, after a typical opening where a new Ghostface killer kills a couple staying at Stu Macher's house and burns it down, we see that Sydney is enjoying her new life in a small town called Pine Grove in Indiana. I mean, she's running a coffee shop, she's happily married to police officer Mark Evans, and they have three children, including her oldest daughter, Tatum Evans, who was named after her best friend, Tatum Riley, as we know what happened to her. Now, that all gets turned upside down when Ghostface tells her, and calls, and appears as an aged and scarred Stu Marker, threatened to go after and kill Tatum for revenge. What? Stu is alive? Now, this leads to a dark and dangerous road for Sydney as she questions if Stu is really alive or is someone who is playing a vicious game as she once again has to fight back in order to save her daughter and her friends. That's kind of what the film is about. Now, I'm sure all the Sidney Prescott fans are happy that Neve Campbell has returned to the franchise after what happened to her and the reason why she wasn't in the sixth film. And again, won't go into that. Won't go into the reason why certain actresses are not in this film, but we all know the reasons why. Now, while it was good seeing Sidney back and having the creator Kevin Williamson back is good too, but after watching this film, the final result that I have is kind of a mixed bag for me, and I'll explain why. Ultimately, there are some good things that Kevin Williams and his team do well, and there are some things that they don't do well, which is not surprising being what this film went through. I mean, there was a lot of changes. Obviously, we know some of the changes when it came to certain stars, certain directors. Obviously, they had to do a bunch of rewrites before Kevin Williamson was brought back on. Then they finally able to get Neve Campbell to come back. So this film went through a lot pre-production wise. So it's kind of surprising that what we have here, in my opinion, is kind of a mixed bag. Now, at first, I thought they did a good job with the setting. Bringing it back to a small town after being in a big city that was in the last film was a good choice. I don't think it would set the tone for what they wanted if they were to have Sydney and everyone else in another big city, kind of repeating what we saw in the sixth film. So I thought bringing it back to a small town was a nice idea. It brings back the feel of the first film, and I'm sure some Scream fans will get some nostalgia in some of the scenes here in the first part of the film. I won't reveal what they are, but once you see a certain scene take place, and I believe you'll get that feeling. I mean, Kevin and his team did a good job on how the film looks. The film looks very well. The cinematography looks very well. I like the very fall-like atmosphere that they have with the film. Again, brings back some of what we saw in the first film. And we also get some good few music with some friendly neighbors and co-workers. It's what you expect to see in a small town. Just like we had in Rootsboro, we get that same here in Pines Grove. It's also well paced, which is something that you need for a film that's almost 2 hours long, especially for a slasher film. Slasher films are kind of not this long, but I thought he did a good job with the pacing of the film. There are some moments where it slows down a bit, but you're still kind of intrigued in the film because that's what screen films are. They are intriguing. You're trying to figure out who the killers are, what's going on. You're looking for some red herrings. You're paying attention. So I give Kevin and his team credit for keeping the film well paced and intriguing. Now, I like how Kevin uses the "Stu is alive" plot, as many people on social media, including my good friend, the late Steven from Scaring Something Crazy, wanted so much for Stu to be alive. Now, I'm not going to review anything more than that because obviously it's kind of a spoiler thing. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. But I like that aspect of the film. Now, the kills are the most violent and the most gruesome I've seen since Scream 4, and Kevin and his team do not hold back on the gore. I mean, yeah, the kills have basically been violent throughout the franchises, but other than some of the slashing and the blood, there's never been a real gory series when it comes to the kills other than Scream 4, and they really did a good job with the gore that we get in this film. There's some very vicious kills and the very gory effects that they use, particularly in one scene in the auditorium and the other scene in the bar. If you know what I'm talking about, yeah, those were some very vicious kills. Now, the problem that I have with this film is the script that Kevin has given to us because it's uneven and it's quite predictable. I mean, it's obvious when watching this film that the main focal point is the relationship between Sydney and Tatum, and I believe that's what they really were going for here. I mean, when you boils down to it, Tatum wants to know why Sydney never talks about her past. I mean, she actually named her daughter after her best friend, while Sydney's trying her best to hide it from her, causing some friction between the two. And the reason why this part of the film works for me is the chemistry that Neve Campbell and Isabel Maeve have, as we believe that Sydney will protect Tatum and Tatum wants to prove she's just as tough as her mother is. There's a very interesting thing that happens at the end of the film. I won't reveal what it is, but I got a good laugh out of it. Unfortunately, that doesn't help with the rest of the movie, as Tatum friends are just one-dimensional characters, and they don't offer anything more than just being father for the Ghostface killer or killers. I mean, they really don't add anything. There's no character development at all. We have the typical weird looking guy who's a true crime. We have the best friend, and that's it. And then we have Tatum's boyfriend. He's kind of like almost like Billy Loomis in this particular role right here. But that's it. They don't offer anything more than what those characters are. It's not the actor's fault. It's just that for some reason, Kevin didn't do a good job in making these characters more relevant. Now, at least Jasmine Savoy Brown and Mason Goodham are fine as Minnie and Chad Meeks Martin, and I like what they bring to the table in this film. Now, as far as what they do in this particular film, they really don't mention anything about Sam and Tara, other than the fact that they say they were the New York Ghostface killings, and that's it. Their names not even mentioned in the film. I guess it's kind of just to protect Sam and Tara, or you guess it's a Melissa Barrera and Jenny Ortega. But that's basically what they are. I like what they bring to the film, but that's about it. Now, the same can't be said for Courtney Cox, as I felt that she was wasted in this film, and I believe that she's only here. It's because it's a Scream film, and we have to have uh, Gail Weathers in this particular film. It was nice seeing Gail, and it was nice seeing her and Neve Campbell play off each other. But that's about it. To me, she's just a waste. Now let's talk about the Ghostface kills because for this film, and while they were brutal in their kills, the reveal of them was very, very predictable, and their motivations were just as bad as they were in the fifth and sixth film. I mean, one of the reasons why Scream worked was mainly because not only the reviews were surprising, but their motivations made sense. And the last three films, I would say from five, six, and now, their motivations are weak and predictable. They're not the shock value that I believe Kevin and the rest of his team felt that this would be. Like I said, the reviews were very predictable. I bet you that everyone will probably predict who one of the killers are once they make their appearance on the screen and say, "Oh yeah, that person is going to be one of them." And that's the problem that I have with this film, and I have with the fifth film and the sixth film is their reveal and their motivations is not good at all. Yes, I'm sure some Scream fans will like seeing some of the surprising people who show up in this film. I believe it's not going to have the effect that Kevin and his team hoping it would have. Now, I'll say this Scream 7 isn't a bad film, and it's not the worst in the franchise, but for me, it's a disappointment as I expected something a lot more with the return of the actors and character than make the Scream franchise to what it has become. There should have been a lot more, but for me, it's, eh. So I'm going to give Scream 7 only two out of the Miser's five bloody gold coins. Yes, two out of the five Miser's bloody gold coins. Yeah, I expected something a whole lot better, but it's like this. It's not bad, but then it's not good. So that's like a eh. I heard a lot of mixed reviews. Some people were having, some people didn't like this at all. I'm pretty sure some people are going to like this, but for me, it's a eh. Oh, so there you have it, my horror fans. That is my review and video of Scream 7. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with with the YouTube algorithm. What are your thoughts on Scream 7? Did you enjoy it? Did you really enjoy? Did you like seeing Sydney come back? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about the film. Keep in mind, this is my non-spoiler review. So please, if you're going to spoil anything, make sure you mark spoilers in the comment section below. I'm working on seeing if I can get a live stream spoiler review of Scream 7 hopefully sometime next week. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button. Ring that notification bell. That way we notify anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Money G. And always remember, horror rules. And I see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there.